Hey YouTube, Joe here. So, very exciting news. BIY, my homebrew company, we've come out with an exclusive line of beer kits, and we're going to be brewing one today. It's the Summer Flight Ale, recipe put together by Nikki and myself, and we've already got our water heating up, so without further ado, we're going to get right to this. So here's everything that comes in the kit. You get full step-by-step instructions, all your grains already ready to roll. In this instance, we've got hops and we've got some spices. Our malt extracts are a blend of liquid and dry. Of course, a nice premium dry yeast, nice and shelf-stable, hint, hint. And yeah, so we are going to go ahead and get rolling with this. The water is on to start heating up to our steeping temperature of anywhere between 150 to 165. I'm probably going to shoot for right around like 155-ish. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our steeping grains here and get them put inside our fabulous muslin bag. Okay, so what I'll always do is take my bag, put it on something paper, just it's easier to clean up the dust that way. Open this up. It's a little way to cheat with these grain bags. So take them, slice open the top. Okay, so I take it, pop this guy right over the top, and then just flip it. You can do that with big bags, small bags, whatever. So plenty of room in this one for moving around. We're going to tie the top of the bag here. And there we go. You can see the dust starting to fall out there. That's why you put it on something so it's easier to clean up. We'll just put that in the pot once it's time and dust off our paper instructions and keep on rolling. Okay, so we're at 156, so we're going to go ahead and kill our heat here. Add our steeping grains. Patty's helping me out here. So just pop those in there, yep, give them a dip or two. And let it fall in there, and then I typically give it a poke with the mash paddle or the spoon, whatever. Make sure all the grain is wet. You want to make sure that all your grain is wet so that way you're getting the most out of them as you can. So that looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. See? Completely soaked. Yummy. So now what we're going to do, this is the only time in the brewing process you can put the lid back on. So we're going to leave it there for about 20-30 minutes. Okay, so we're ready to pull out those grains now. Our neighbor decided to mow his lawn, so this is actually, it's been in here much longer than it needed to be, but it won't cause a problem. So Patty, you want to go ahead and pull that? Got my thermometer here. We're going to go ahead and open up the gas again and get this back up to, well, bring it up to a boil. And we'll just basically, Patty's going to hold the grain bag there, let it drip out, so that way you get plenty of the good stuff in there. You can see nice light in color. That's what we're shooting for. This one was not a whole lot of specialty grain compared to my usual. So yeah, we'll just let this come up to a boil now. Okay, YouTube, we are at a boil here, so we're going to go ahead and kill it and get our liquid malt extracts in. Matt, if you could kill it for me, please. And Patty Joe, start a pouring. So we kill the heat again because the you don't want to have that heavy malt extract hit the very bottom with the heat on. Like right now it's hitting the bottom, I can feel it with the paddle, but it's not sticking and it's not getting burned in place. So that's what you want. Okay, I'm going to grab that from you, Patty, and I'll continue to wipe it out. If you want to grab the dry malts, this recipe uses both liquid and dry malt extract. Actually, you know what we're going to do? Take a little bit in there, give it a shimmy, and now I'll get to warm it back up a little bit. That is one thing with this, I didn't tell you folks, well I didn't show you it on the camera, but if you take these cans of the Breeze and even the Muntins or Cooper's malt extracts, the liquids, and you put them on the stove or in a thing of really hot water, it'll actually soften this stuff up, and it's so much easier to get out of here. You can see it's just, I mean, it's just pouring. Maybe you can't, maybe all you can see is my armpit. But yeah, you can see, pretty darn good job there. So I'm going to call that, well, I may get a little bit more out of there. You want to get as much malt extract as you can because that's the good stuff. Yeah. I'm just pulling dregs now, so you could... Okay, and now Patty's going to go ahead and add our first pound of dry malt extract. You want to mix that in nice and fast. You can see it'll start to clump a little bit right down there around the bottom. That's completely natural. I found the dry malt likes to froth up a little bit more than the liquid. Okay. Yep, so we can go ahead and add the second bag of dry malt extract. This recipe that we developed calls for adding both the liquid and dry malt extract all at one time. It's such a light beer. It's only about 4 to 5%, closer to 4, like 4.25% or so. Once all is said and done, and basically you don't have, since we're not having so much sugar in there, it's okay. We've got about 3 gallons of wort here to boil that 3 gallons, and then you don't have to worry about it scorching or caramelizing. Whoops, I just sent some flying. Yeah, it happens. So we're just going to keep mixing here, and then we're going to turn the heat back on. So we'll see you once we're ready to add some hops. Okay folks, so we are back up to a boil here. You can see the foam is nice and thick. That's the hot break. Basically what we're doing is kind of breaking down some proteins. These are all the things that are going to cause head and lacing in the beer. And as it continues to boil, it's going to stop foaming. I've got my brother on the gas over there, so if it starts to flare up, he's going to turn it off. But what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and get the first addition of hops added, and typically when you add hops to the beer, it's going to foam up as well. So Patty, if you want to go ahead and sprinkle those in nice and slow. Matt, keep an eye on it. I'm ready to stir. Yep, see, away it goes. Yeah, Matt, you want to probably kill it. Yep. Kill it. Yep. See, that happens. A little bit of a boil over, that happens. So you give it a good mix, and I actually also have a water bottle, a spray water bottle. So I'm actually going to get that mixed in there. I'm going to go grab my my spritzer. Patty, do you want to... Actually, that's pretty clean. That's good enough. Yep. Matt, if you want to go ahead and start the burner back up, I'll be back with my spritzer bottle. So very good lesson learned there. That happens. So regular spritzer bottle with water in it. Matt's got the gas cranked back up, so it'll take just a second here to get going again. But basically it's just a fine line dealing with those proteins until they get reabsorbed. This is why you never walk away from your boil. Looks like the bog of eternal stench. Sarah? You can crank it.
I think he's having fun.
I'm just going to rinse the sides off there. There's some hops on the side. There's not a lot of hops in this recipe, so might as well get them all incorporated. A little more water won't hurt. It's going to evaporate anyway. Okay, so it's not foaming up nearly as bad. I do believe that we have made it past the hot break now. So we are going to begin our timer. Patty, if you could check the time. This addition of hops here, we are going to boil for 45 minutes. And then we are going to add our next addition of hops as well as our spice packet. So we'll see you at that addition. Okay, we have hit our 45-minute mark, and we actually have to switch propane tanks, so this is perfect. Matt's going to go ahead and get that switched over for us. We're going to get the fire reignited, get it boiling again there, and then add in our next addition of hops and our spice packet. So you got that open, Matt?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and get it reignited. Woo! There we go. That did the trick. I got my spritzer bottle ready, and Patty, if you want to go ahead and add in the last hop packet and the spice packet. Matt's manning the gas, I'm manning the spritzer bottle. Beautiful. Wish you guys could smell this. This smells awesome. And here go the spices. And we're going to boil this for 15 minutes. I love it. Grabbing my spoon. Beautiful sort of citrus thing going on here. And that's what we were shooting for, so perfect. That's looking good. Wasn't a crazy amount of a hot break there on round 2, so we should be good. We're gonna obviously keep an eye on the boil. Matt, you can actually tone it down just a little bit. That's rocking and rolling. And yeah, we're going to give it another 15 minutes, and we shall be wrapping this bad boy up. So see you in 15.
No, we're just gonna kill it.
Okay, YouTube, we are at a full hour. So Matt, kill the gas. We're going to take our lid, pop it on there, and take it downstairs and begin cooling it down. Okay, so we've got the wort here down in the basement. Oh man, that smells good. What we're going to do, so it's in the sink here. I went ahead and put the plug in the bottom of the sink. This sink has a nice divot right here, so water cascades over into this section. So for me, it's really easy to cool my beer down. I just take my water hose, turn on some cold water, and let her rip. I'll fill this up several times, let it keep basically heating the water up. As it's heating the water up, it's cooling down. And we basically just keep cycling this until it's cool. It typically only takes about 20-30 minutes. So, and I don't let the water run continuously. I try to be as eco-friendly as possible. So the water right now is still pretty cool, so we'll just let it fill up here. You can see it starts to cascade over there. Perfect. Yep, it's pretty cool to the touch. So what I'm going to do, kill the water, and we're basically just going to keep doing this until the wort is down to temperature. Then we'll transfer it into our bucket. So we'll see you then. Okay, so we were just cooling it down here and wanted to point out, you see those sort of gray masses there? Oh, I can't do this very well off the camera. That's actually our hot break. We had a beautiful hot break. It's starting to, when it's cooling down, it's starting to sort of colloid up, which is fabulous. We're going to have a nice clear beer out of this. And a lot of times that can be sped up by Whirlflock or Irish moss. We didn't use that in this recipe, but it turned out just fine. You know, you do a good boil on it. We're cooling it down really quickly, and that helps drop out those proteins. So just wanted to show you that real quick, just because that got me excited. So cool. We're going to continue cooling it down. As exciting as this is, we're going to, through the miracle of time, speed up. Okay, so we are cooled down. We are going to start straining this off and finish up the batch. So cleaned and sanitized bucket here with sanitized strainer. We'll go ahead and dump our wort in, slowly but surely. Here we go. We're splashing it around to get plenty of oxygen absorbed in there. It's cool enough now to do that. You don't want to splash it around when it's super hot, and you don't want to splash it around after it's fermented. Okay, we're going to stop about there because I'm not sure if you can see all that crap in there. We don't want all that getting in there, so we're going to let that one be. Everyone see it? Yeah, foul.
Where'd the blue clumps go?
That's them, actually, that big, all that goo.
Are you going to explain why oxygen is good at this stage and not
Yeah,
others?
oxygen is good at this stage because the yeast are going to need the oxygen to get going. Basically, they go through a process at the start of their rehydration, at the start of fermentation, where they need oxygen. Afterwards, they go into an anaerobic fermentation, and basically that's where all the magic happens. So you need oxygen at the start, but no oxygen later on.
What happens if you put oxygen in when it's too warm?
When it's too warm, you'll get hot side aeration, which is a problem. It will cause all kinds of really nasty flavors. You'll oxidize certain compounds in the beer, and you want to avoid that. So
What happens if you put oxygen in later on?
same deal. You'll oxidize your finished beer, and it'll taste like shite.
This is good to note that when you are moving something to the secondary, so your carboy, you actually want to match your carboy to your batch size. So like a 5-gallon batch needs to go in a 5-gallon carboy. The whole purpose of that is to minimize the air in the headspace. Unless you can purge that headspace with like CO2, you want to try to minimize it. So you never want to put like a 5-gallon batch in like a 6.5-gallon secondary carboy, because it's like leaving a beer out overnight. It's not going to taste good.
I'm just trying to figure out how much we've got in here. Let's see. Well, this beer's not going to have any problem with
Now, is
head. Yeah. I'm sorry?
Is that the carafils?
Yes. Let's see here. Well, you know what? Let's just take a hydrometer reading. So I always use the Thief for my hydrometer readings, which is a big old tube with an exit valve on the bottom. You can drop your hydrometer right inside of it. Everything's sanitized, of course. That's what I'm letting drip off into my sink as we speak. Just put it in, let it fill up. You can bop it like this to help get more in there if you need it. Drop your hydrometer and give it a spin. We are at 1042 exactly. So because everything was sanitized, I'm just pressing it up against the side here to return the sample. Okay, and because we're at the target gravity, and I can kind of see through the light that we're right around the 5-gallon mark. Maybe a little bit, well, yeah, it's just shy of the 5-gallon mark. I think I'm going to add just a dash more water, and then we can just go ahead and get our yeast pitched there. Rinse this off so nothing gets sticky on there. Okay, let's see. And on our marker here, yep, that'll do the trick. And let's see, while we're doing our analyzing here. Ooh, we got this one nice and cool. It's actually at 61 degrees, so a little cooler than anticipated, which is fabulous. Our groundwater right now is pretty cool. What we're going to do, because we're going to be putting this in our fermentation chamber, I've got a heater in there. What we'll do is we'll go ahead, we'll strap it up with the heater, and basically the heater will pop on. It'll equalize. We're going to knock this one out at about 68 degrees, and from that point, basically the heater will shut off, and then if it gets above 70, the actual refrigerator that it's sitting inside of will flip on and cool the batch down. So, yeah, this foam's not going anywhere this time. So, there you can see it. It's in there. See? See? Kinda. Bueller? Okay. Close enough. Trust me, there's beer in there. So, Patty, if you would like to just sprinkle the yeast across the top there. Nice and even all the way across. There's really no need to stir it in. We'll be jostling it around. I may actually bop this one in just a little bit to make sure that it actually hits the beer level. It doesn't get stuck to the sides as the foam sort of deflates. Perfect. So yeah, I'm going to bop this one in.
Got to do the sound effect.
Yeasty, yeasty, yeasty.
Is that a technical term?
Yeah, that is actually the bop song. Totally necessary when you're brewing a good beer like this.
This is the true Joe.
Yeah, this is yeah. You're getting all the stuff that I typically cut out this go around. This is BIY unplugged. So a little bit of yeast stuck there on the side. I'll try to scrape that with the thing. Like I said, it's not necessary. We used USO5. If you read the packet instructions, Fermentus says just sprinkle directly onto wort. Because the foam was so thick on this one, I wanted to get it integrated there so I know that it doesn't get just stuck on the side and dry up, and then we have under attenuation. Which means it doesn't ferment out all the way because you didn't pitch enough yeast. And we didn't do a starter, clearly. So, cool. That'll do. So now what we're going to do, take the lid, pop it on. I always try to position mine so that way the airlock is off to the side here, so that way there's the most clearance possible. That's on there. A little bit of airlock activitol. We're going to go ahead and put some sanitizer in the airlock. Off camera. Man, I tell you.
He's really filling it with vodka and taking shots.
Oh, yeah, totally. Sanitizer.
He's professional.
I'm a professional beer maker. So, you fill it up about halfway, a third to about halfway or so. Take your internal piece, drop it in. You pop this on. And voila, we are done. So, I'm going to get this put into the fermentation box, which we'll show you here in just a second. Get it all wrapped up and the probe stuck to the side. And we are finished. Very exciting. Alrighty, all is said and done. We've got the temperature probe here taped with some foam on the outside of it to the side of the bucket to help regulate that temperature. We've got our firm wrap plugged into the dual stage temperature controller inside of our fridge. Right now the probe is reading 67 ambient because we just taped it on there. That's going to drop once we close it up and get her going. But now it's just a matter of time. The thermostat is set, the dual stage temperature controller is set to ferment at 68 degrees with a 2-degree temperature variance. That's kind of my standard. So until next time, YouTube, we'll be doing a taste test here probably in about 3 weeks or so. So we'll see you then. Cheers!